Hello and welcome back in here to KCTV5 Plus. I'm Katie Bird here with Sharon Chen on your
Hi.
Tuesday afternoon. Sharon, we've gotten some exciting news straight from the Kansas City Current. Take a look at this.
Yeah, this is so exciting. So this is what we're calling breaking news right now because we are getting details brand new into the newsroom, just released renderings. Take a look at this. For the Kansas City Current's proposed expansion of CPKC Stadium. So City Council is discussing the $1.4 billion plan right now. And so we're getting a first look at these new drawings. Take a look at this. This is amazing.
Wow.
This is going to be quite a bit larger than what the stadium is now. We did the math. The current stadium seats about 11,500. So this would up it to more than 18,000 seats in the stadium.
Wow.
The project is much more, though, than a stadium expansion. It would also turn the area along the Missouri River there into a larger sports and entertainment district. This would be phenomenal for that area.
Yeah, you mentioned that capacity. So again, seating capacity would be increased by more than 30%. There would be added parking, new retail, and trail connections. And the big goal is to add more park and outdoor space close to downtown. Mayor Lucas calls the Current and CPKC Stadium a major success and said the city wants to build on that momentum.
I'm a supporter of it because I think there we have seen an entire neighborhood grow up over the last 5 years. This adds more housing, more business, more jobs, more development opportunity, and of course more seats within the stadium.
Right. So the organization says that it has pretty much sold out of every regular season home and playoff match since moving into this stadium in 2024. And that is why the mayor is encouraging the city to issue up to $235 million in bonds for the creation of a TIF plan, a tax increment financing plan, to continue to see the Berkeley riverfront area just grow and thrive. And I have to say, when the NWSL championships came to town in 2024, I had sat down with CPKC and Raven Jameson. And back then, she was already telling me we have to expand because we are growing. We're bursting at the seams, I believe is the term that she used. So for them to put this together so quickly, it's pretty amazing.
It truly is. I mean, I always think about how we were the first city in the world to have an all-women's sports stadium. And you said there's another city not too far from here, kind of following in our footsteps.
Yeah, the Denver Summit, I believe is the name of their team. They're also building their own stadium right in the heart of downtown. And guess who's behind that project? That's right, Populous.
Wow.
Kansas City's premier venue design company, also behind that one too, as also behind so many different projects.
Yeah, I know you had the chance to sit down with Populous about the design for the FIFA Fan Festival. Interesting to see kind of what approach they take here in Denver, Colorado.
Sure.
Well, and again, if you want to see more on those renderings, we have them on our website. I certainly will be sharing it with my friends, especially those who played soccer in the past, because this is very exciting for them too. But also, we have more World Cup fever here in Kansas City. It's getting stronger than ever, just 3 days until the biggest match we've had comes to town. It's Colombia against Ghana. Again, win or go home. Kickoff is at 8:30, Sharon.
That's right. Kickoff is at 8:30 and it's win or go home. So we also confirmed this with Columbia's Football Association. The national team will start to head to Kansas City tomorrow. Now we do know that they will be using Children's Mercy Park in KCK to train ahead of Friday's match, and they'll be staying at the Kansas City Marriott Country Club Plaza. Now, as for Ghana, the other team, their national team could arrive tomorrow too. So we're still working to confirm those details, the timeline. So certainly when we find out anything, we'll keep you posted. But Kansas City is it's going to be another busy place tomorrow.
It will be. And we're already starting to see the fan base excitement. Grace Smith, our reporter yesterday, had an incredible story on a Colombian fan and a fan from Ghana. So cool to see just their passion for their culture and their other communities. It's great to have yet another fan base coming to the Metro, because this one we didn't know right off the bat, like the rest of them, exactly who would be playing here. I want to take it next to some national news for your afternoon. New today, the Supreme Court struck down President Donald Trump's executive order aimed at ending birthright citizenship. The order said children born in our country to people here illegally or temporarily would not be American citizens. But this ruling keeps the 14th Amendment intact, saying that anyone born in the U.S., with very limited exceptions, is a citizen. Sharon.
And Katie, that's not the only Supreme Court ruling that happened today. The high justices also ruled that the states can keep laws banning transgender athletes from playing in girls' sports. More than 24 states already have such bans. Both Missouri and Kansas banned transgender athletes from playing in girls' sports.
And going on here to Venezuela, obviously just such a tragic week. And the desperate search for survivors is still underway. There are more than 1,700 people confirmed deceased, and 5,000 others are injured after last week's just devastating earthquake. So here you can see these are actually Spanish search and rescue dogs aiding in these recovery efforts, and over a dozen nations have deployed emergency personnel, rescue teams, and humanitarian aid amid the nation's crisis. Definitely thinking of all those who have lost loved ones.
Our hearts definitely go out to them. The images out of there are just devastating.
It
Heartbreaking,
is.
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to some happier news here.
Yeah.
Maybe not so happy for Los Angeles, but LeBron James, he is leaving the Lakers.
Wow.
This is according to his representation. Now, he is not retiring. He instead will become an unrestricted free agent. So the 41-year-old is the NBA's all-time points leader. Think about that. A 22-time All-Star and 4-time MVP among the other accolades. So some analysts predict that he is going to end his storied career with Cleveland, since that's where he's from. He's an Ohio native. There's also some other speculation that he could potentially be joining a team with the necessary salary cap space, such as the Golden State Warriors. Now, if that happened, then he'd be staying in California.
Yeah.
So James would be ending a run of 8 years with the Lakers, including 1 championship in his second season with LA. I know he is widely loved in LA.
He is. And the fact that he is 41 and still succeeding in a sport,
right?
He's kind of reminding me as the Messi of basketball.
Yeah.
Because Messi's pushing 40 as
analogy.
well. You know, it's not every athlete that gets to even go into their 30s, let alone their 40s. So incredible career. And it sounds like he's not ending it, just kind of pivoting a little bit. Might have to get some new jerseys if you're a basketball fan.
Very true.
Yeah, I want to take it back here locally. So St. Michael's Veterans Center is celebrating a major milestone. They opened a brand new apartment building designed for veterans who need a stable place to land. So KCTV5's Gabby Luma has a look inside and why staff say the impact goes beyond the 4 walls.
After 15 years, those with St. Michael's Veterans Center say
her.
it's a mission fulfilled. They just cut the ribbon today on 179 brand new apartments for unhoused veterans. St. Michael's Veterans Center helps provide permanent housing and support for veterans experiencing homelessness and those with disabilities. The newly finished Valor House is the final phase of the center's initial master plan, which began over a decade ago. Now veterans from all walks of life can live comfortably in 2-bed apartments. One veteran living in the building gave us a tour, telling us the center was able to help him furnish his space. He even has a queen bed in his room. Those with St. Michael's say for these veterans, it's more than just a place to stay.
I mean, it's a beautiful place. It's heaven sent. That's the best place they've ever lived. I'm not going to be alone when I die. I mean, just all of the things that you would expect when you have a home again, that people care about you. And you're surrounded by people who are community to you.
Reporting from St. Michael's Veterans Center, Gabby Luma, KCTV5 News.
I love that, because Veterans are so important. Think about it. These are the guys that fight for our country, that fight for our freedoms. But more often than not, those are the guys that end up on the streets that are homeless. And so it's nice that we're now stepping up for our veterans in this way.
Yeah, it really is an incredible addition to the community. And you heard that woman there at the end kind of just reiterating what some of the veterans had said. Like, it truly is a life-changing place for them. And who knows, maybe if it wasn't for this place, they may have to be homeless. So, Sharon, we're going to head over on a break. When we come back, there's a lot more news to break down. I want to take it over to a live look out over the Kansas City skyline. Beautiful summer day, warm summer day, but not complaining after the severe weather we've had this spring. Thanks for tuning in. All right, welcome back in here to KCTV 5 Plus. I'm Katie Bird here again with Sharon Chen. Sharon, there was an incredible rescue this morning to a couple of victims of a fire.
Yeah, listen to this. So 2 people were rescued from the roof of a Kansas City home after an early morning fire. This happened in the 3300 block of Bales Avenue. So apparently firefighters arrived to find heavy smoke and flames coming from a 2-story home. What's amazing here is the 2 people, they were stranded on the roof trying to get away from these flames, and the firefighters were able to bring both of them safely to the ground, and so no injuries were reported here.
Wow, so thankful for our first responders. I mean, take a look at that and just imagine how terrifying that must have been. First of all, I don't even know how I would get onto the roof of my house if I had to.
But then sitting there, watching the fire all around you.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
that's terrifying. So glad they're okay. Taking it next here. If you overpaid for your Jackson County property taxes, you're still going to be waiting for relief. So county lawmakers held a packed public hearing yesterday on a plan to give homeowners tax credits, and here's a glimpse of it there, but left without taking a vote. So County Executive Phil Avoda wants to start those credits this year and run them through 2028. But as you've probably seen in our headlines recently, schools, libraries, and cities are really pushing back, warning the plan would cost them millions, and the legislature could vote as soon as next week.
Okay, let's talk Royals, not the team, but rather their future home.
Yes.
The new Royals Stadium is starting to take shape, and it's actually bigger than a ballpark. Than just a ballpark. The Royals filed their preliminary master plan for a $3 billion Crown Center ballpark district. 91 acres we're talking about here. Yeah. The development would be split into 10 areas with the new stadium set to open by the 2031 season. So the plan also promises enough parking within half a mile to handle a sellout crowd, but the full district would not be complete until 2040.
Wow, 2040. I was not expecting that completion date, but if you look at that rendering, I think we will be okay with waiting because that is absolutely gorgeous. I want to take it next to an inspiring story. 43 years ago, you may remember Chiefs running back Joe Delaney died while trying to save 3 kids from drowning. He didn't know how to swim himself. So for the last several years, the team has honored his memory by sponsoring swimming lessons. KCTV5 reporter Chandler Watkins reports from Parkwood Pool in Kansas City, Kansas.
For 4 years now, the Joe Delaney Learn to Swim event has helped provide swimming lessons to thousands across the metro. The program continues to honor Joe's legacy by providing the accessible swim lessons, teaching water safety and building confidence.
Watching the young gentleman over here on the sideline, he looks like he's about 3.5 years old, and you know what? He's throwing things out in the water, and he is not having any fear to step out on that water and go right after that toy that's going out into the water. So it just starts with little things like that.
This free program has helped 3,500 learn how to swim over the years, from babies as young as 6 months to adults, including one Chiefs player.
We did have a former player. He felt confident enough that even he got in and started and learned how to swim through the program.
Current and former players, and even Casey Wolf, have attended the program to cheer the students on.
Learning how to swim, because I know what a task that was of just overcoming your fear of water, and be able to, when you learn how to do that, you gain so much confidence, and so hopefully they can carry that on with their lives and things of that nature and be able to conquer anything that is presented to them.
Reporting in KCK.
Very good, everybody.
Chandler Watkins, KCTV5 News.
Such an incredible program, Sharon.
Such an incredible program and such an important skill to have.
It really is. You never know when you're going to have to jump in and help someone else out.
That's right. Okay, speaking of pools, we're all going to be searching for one
we
this
are.
week because forecasters say about half of all Americans face dangerously hot temperatures headed into the holiday weekend. So as I call it, hot July, that's what we're looking at here.
Yep.
Meteorologists predict more than 150 temperature records that could fall during daytime and then twice as many as night. Now we do know that humidity can make it feel even hotter. The National Weather Service says that they do have heat warnings in place for much of the Midwest and an entire swath of the Mid-Atlantic. You can see it right there. Look at that big chunk of pink right there. That's the Midwest. Wow. So New York City and Washington, D.C., they're going to feel their hottest temps in more than a decade. And parts of the South are also under watches and advisories today as well.
Yeah, definitely a time to get those handheld fans, get the neck towels, and turn on the air conditioning.
Yeah, and water.
As well. Lots of water. That's really the key. When it gets this hot, of course, it can be dangerous for everyone, included our four-legged friends. So KCTV5's Claire Decatur shares ways to keep your furry friends safe and healthy during these hottest months of the year.
Sunny, sit. Madison Brown may have a dog named Sunny, but she's not a fan of the summer heat.
I actually kind of dread it because then I can't take my 2 dogs on as long of a walk.
If you're headed outside with your pet, vets say heat and humidity can turn dangerous fast.
They have sweat glands in their paw pads. They primarily cool by panting. And if the air outside is very warm and it's very humid, they're not going to evaporate very well when panting, and they're not going to cool effectively.
Dr. Goldston says certain dogs are at even higher risk, especially short-nosed squish-faced breeds, and they should only be out for short stretches in extreme heat. And if the pavement is too hot for you, it's too hot for your pet's paws.
Especially with like the black roads, because the black absorbs the heat and it gets hot faster. So keeping them on like the grass, or if they're used to it, you can put booties on them to help protect their little paw pads.
Some clinical signs of heat stroke are excessive panting if they don't want to stand and collapse.
We do recommend cooling them off. You don't want to necessarily put them in ice, but put them in the tub, hose them off with some nice cool water to help kind of bring that temperature down. You can put some fans on them.
And if those at-home remedies don't work, be sure to take them into urgent care as soon as possible.
It can be a life-threatening condition.
Brown says her go-to in this heat, always keep water on hand.
Don't forget about your kitty friends too. Put out some cold water for those feral cats in your community. Keep an eye on them, making sure that they're not getting too hot either.
Claire Decatur, KCTV5 News.
And fun fact, so that little dog with Claire at the end is actually her own pup,
I
Kylo.
wondered about that.
So sweet.
I love it.
Great awareness as well, really.
Yeah, for sure. Pets, people, we're all going to be sweltering this week.
Yes,
and
we
so
are.
If you are baking in this heat, there's a few options of how you can cool off here. The locations right there on your screen, mapped out, are cooling centers open across the metro. Now, these are safe, air-conditioned places to basically ride out the worst part of the day. So we've got a full list with addresses and hours in the KCTV5 News app, so you can find the closest spot in just a few taps. Definitely want to keep that on hand.
Oh, 1,000%. And of course, we're coming up on America's 250th birthday. So to help you celebrate, if you don't have plans, you can join us right here on KCTV5. The annual Stars and Stripes picnic and our special coverage starts at 9 p.m. with the area's biggest fireworks show. I have to say, it is phenomenal. If you can't make it to the National World War I Museum and Memorial Lawn, you can celebrate right from your couch and tune in as well. Again, you're home for the 4th of July fireworks. It's always one of my favorite nights of the year here at the station. Just so much fun. And with the World Cup, FIFA Fan Fest will also be open, Sharon?
Yeah, you're going to get kind of a 2-for-1 here. FIFA Fan Fest, as well as, the fireworks show. But also keep this in mind. It is America's 250th this year. So that fireworks show is supposed to be the biggest one yet. So it's going to be phenomenal for sure.
Yeah, quite the milestone. Yeah. I have to say, out of all of my 4th of July traditions, my favorite is probably just watching the fireworks.
Yes.
I'm not one that likes to hold anything or light it off. I leave that to some other people that would rather do it.
I think that's because we work in news. We hear all the horror stories because I'm the same way. I'm just completely fine with watching the professionals do it because they give the best show anyway.
They
right?
do.
My little fireworks are not going to be half as spectacular as what we see in the sky, for sure.
Yes, Sharon, I agree. And for America's 250th, you can get some good deals from some local fast food chains. So Burger King has some new items, including, this sounds amazing, Sharon, a firecracker cookie pie and an orange dreamsicle freezy. This is making me really hungry for lunch already.
Yeah, no kidding.
Say. And Whopper Juniors will just be $2.50 each on Saturday. Only for rewards members, so you will have to get that. But there are some other good deals as well, Sharon.
Yeah, there are. You had me at cookie on that one.
I know.
Okay, so going from Burger King to Sonic, Sonic has a limited time America 250 menu. So these are items priced at $2.50.
Love
what
it.
a deal.
That
How
is
about
a
that?
deal.
Yeah. So.
Oh, and I don't know about you, but I love Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, me too.
It's one of my favorite coffee shops, and they have a collection of patriotic treats. Sounds like every company's getting in on this. Competitor Krispy Kreme rolls out its 4th of July collection as well. So if you're headed to the pool, headed to a big party, you can definitely stop at one of those places on your way.
And I think, what is this other one here? Betty Crocker.
Oh, yeah.
Is going to reimburse 1 million customers who buy cake mixes.
Okay.
That's a good way to celebrate, too.
It is, because there's really nothing like making something in your own kitchen, having the family over, doing all of that. Definitely ready to soak up the sun rays this weekend. It's a big week here in Kansas City between World Cup match and America's 250th. I'm excited. Sharon, thanks for sitting down on KCTV5 Plus. It is a hot one today, and it's not going to change the rest of this week. So we actually have our First Warn 5 weather team coming in soon with a closer look at your forecast. We'll be back here right after the break.
Thanks for sticking with us. I'm First Warn 5 meteorologist Warren Sears, taking a look at some high heat for quite some time. So we have a toasty pattern that we are a part of. It's super humid as well. They kind of walk outside and start sweating kind of deal. So that's the normal for a little while. We do have a lot of attention, of course, on Friday and Saturday with our match on Friday evening at Kansas City Stadium, and then again the 4th of July on Saturday. So we're going to be breaking that down. We're also going to take a look at any chances for some rain, maybe a little bit later in the forecast. Could have a few thunderstorms that we'll be watching for. But aside from that, this hot pattern keeps us pretty quiet. I do first want to start off with the strawberry moon. That was last night. Thanks to Jerry Keeney for sending this in. This is around Liberty. This is not really a strawberry moon because it's red. It's a strawberry moon. There's a old tale, and these in the Farmer's Almanac. These have been called. The moons have had their names for a long time, but this was the time of the year that the strawberries were in harvest or were ready to be harvested, I should say, and so that's why it has its name. But does have a little bit of a orangey hue as it lifts off of the horizon, just kind of like our sun does as well. So it has to do with some light scattering and all of that fun stuff to what we see to our eyes. But beautiful. We had some kind of thin, wispy clouds that it was going through, so it gives it a little spooky look. Kind of looks like it could be around Halloween. So the big story here is the heat and kind of the setup that we have for it. This is just a typical, I made this earlier today. This is just a typical, when we see these heat domes set up, we have usually some sort of ridging in the jet stream. You guys are familiar with the jet stream. Jet stream is that highway of air that flows thousands and thousands of feet above into the atmosphere. So when the jet stream has this big ridging pattern like this, high pressure is allowed to build and a large area of high pressure, and that gives us quiet conditions, but it also helps feed in some hotter temps from the south. And so that's generally what we're seeing out there is a quiet but hot and humid stent. It feeds up the way high pressure flows. The way it's situated right now, it's feeding up all that Gulf moisture to us currently. So that's what we're seeing. Now, on the edges of the heat dome and high pressure, and right under the jet stream, you have enough support there for some rain and thunderstorms. Because you might think, it's really humid, so why aren't we getting storms? Well, high pressure allows air to sink, so it's just we're not getting vertical movement in our atmosphere. But around that jet stream, they get upper level support that can help bring air upwards in the vertical direction and create rain and thunderstorms. So that's kind of skirting the area. Western Kansas, some rain, Nebraska into the southern Dakotas, South Dakota, and into the upper Midwest, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. They've got some rain and thunderstorms on the horizon. But for us, it's pretty quiet for a little while. So just a reminder, we do have this extreme heat warning in place. Right now it's through Friday at 9 p.m. We'll see if they add Saturday. Even if they don't add Saturday, it's still going to be pretty hot and humid. They do just have a heat index criteria that they look out for to extend or heat advisory or extreme heat warning. And so the reason the extreme heat warning is here is because we could have some spots, and we've seen some spots recently of up to 110 feels like temperatures. But right now, I want to see if I can find any current readings. Oh, I don't know where my feels like forecast, national. Well, I don't know. Anyways, we have some feels like temperatures in the area already up to 105. At the airport right now, that's not what I want either. This is what I want. It feels like 100 at the airport. So definitely hot. 10 degrees hotter than our actual air temperatures. And that's just a result of the high humidity that we have in place. So looking for the next 5 days here, we have 92 degrees, 92 degrees, 93 degrees. After that, we're actually going to have some of our hotter temperatures coming in on Friday and Saturday. The humidity might back off a touch, but it's still going to be pretty humid. We just have tough conditions right now. 95 on Friday, 95 on Saturday. We have a first warn for both of those days, and the reason being we know more people are going to be out and about. The potential there is for more dangerous disruption from heat in the heart of the afternoons, your plans for the 4th of July. Yeah, it's going to be warm. So I know people are planning to be out and about. Please just make sure you're safe with lots of hydration. Alcohol is not a good hydrator. And sunscreen and hats and those long SPF shirts are helpful too, just to give yourself a little break, because if you're out for 8 hours into the heart of, that's pretty intense. So you want to be very careful, because heat exhaustion is very much on the table when we have numbers like this. Also note your UV is very high. The sun is incredibly strong this time of the year. So we've got a UV index of 9, burn times in as little as 20 minutes. So hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, shade. Shade will be your friend as well. Reminder, surfaces too are something that we really have to watch for. Your asphalt temperatures. If it's 90 degrees outside and you have asphalt in the sun, it can get as hot as 140. So just be careful with your pets, your dogs. They don't need to be outside doing walks on the sidewalks and the streets at 3, 4, 5, 6 p.m. If you can't walk on a surface barefoot, your dog should not be either. So just good reminders. I know no one would intentionally do that, but it's easy to forget. If you've got shoes on, you're not really thinking about it. So as I mentioned, the systems that are going to skirt by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday look to be more to the east. This specific computer Thursday night wants to try to spit out something more in central Missouri, but I just don't see a whole lot of significance to any of that for us just yet. Now, late in the day Saturday, like closer to midnight and into Sunday morning, that's when I think we'll have a slightly better chance. We have a 30% right now for some rain and rumbles, but we'll see. We'll see if this pattern can end up starting to break down a little bit. I do have slightly cooler temperatures on Sunday, but it's still only going to be about 90 degrees. So 5 degrees cooler maybe from Saturday into Sunday. So it looks hot, but hopefully we could get some extra cloud coverage. That would help us out a lot too. So when you look at the extended rainfall products and what we could potentially see through the 4th of July weekend, not much, little to nothing. Maybe northwest Missouri, northeast Kansas far has a little bit of a better chance, but you can see some of the higher rainfall totals, the darker blues, the purples, the reds up in that kind of ring of fire zone, as I mentioned, right around the ridge. And we're just basically going to be baking under the sun. All right, here's a look at the next 7 days. I'll flip this over so you can see it fully. 92, 92, 93, 95, 95. And you'll notice your nighttime temperatures too mild, very mild, in the 70s. Higher humidity allows your nighttime temperatures to stay warmer than if our air was drier. We would see these numbers be quite a bit cooler. So it's going to be muggy. Saturday into Saturday night, Sunday morning, as that rain opportunity might come through, that's going to at least pull you back to about 90 and then 89 on Monday. So it's hard, heart of summer, dog days of summer. It's not uncommon, right? We get these little stints, but that doesn't mean that we love them. Some of you might like this a little more than some colder temps, but all in all, it's avoid strenuous activities outside in the hearts of the afternoons if you can. And if you have to be outside, some of you do work outside, please just make sure you're hydrating well and finding shade. And there are plenty of places that you can find symptoms of heat exhaustion or potentially heat stroke if you are worried about that. So stay cool, stay safe out there, and thank you for joining me. I'm going to send it to a quick break, and we're going to be right back here in just a few minutes.
Hi everyone, welcome back in here to KCTV5 Plus. I'm Katie Bird. It's 2:13 p.m. here on your Tuesday afternoon. Want to continue your coverage, starting off with pretty big news out of our nation's capital. The Supreme Court ended its term with two blockbuster rulings this morning. Karen Kaifa is in Washington, D.C. to break down the court's final opinions.
The Supreme Court knocking down President Donald Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship and leaving in place the more than century-long understanding that anyone born in the United States is a U.S. citizen, even if that child's parents are not. Cecilia Wang, National Legal Director for the American Civil Liberties Union and a birthright citizen, made the argument against the Trump administration in April.
This decision reaffirms one of the fundamental pillars of American life, that all of us who are born on American soil are citizens alike.
Joined by Justices Brett Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett, Elena Kagan, Sonia Sotomayor, and Ketanji Brown Jackson in a 6-3 majority, Chief Justice John Roberts wrote of U.S. citizenship, quote, "The framers of the 14th Amendment extended that promise to every free-born person in this land. We keep that promise today." In a dissent, Justice Samuel Alito wrote the ruling, quote, "preserves a powerful incentive to enter or remain in this country illegally," an idea echoed by House Speaker Mike Johnson Tuesday.
It's been abused. It's one of those things that was intended to serve a noble and important purpose and has been thwarted.
Also Tuesday, the court's conservative majority upheld state laws that ban transgender athletes from playing on girls' sports teams, including one in West Virginia.
This is the best way to make sure that women and girls and transgender athletes have appropriate places to play that is fair and competitive.
Joshua Block of the ACLU argued on behalf of the plaintiff in the West Virginia case, Becky Pepper Jackson.
In time, the people are going to see today's decision as a historic mistake.
In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
And in Venezuela, hope to find more survivors after a pair of devastating earthquakes is fading by the minute. So these quakes killed over 1,700 people and displaced more. It injured thousands on top of that. So Isa Soares reports from Caracas with the latest.
So this is roughly the plan of this 8-story building here in Caracas. They've broken it down into floors to get a sense of who lived in what floors. It tells you how many people have died, 12 people, how many people have rescued, 3 so far, 20 approximately families, people still missing here from this 8-story building in Caracas.
But over the last 2 days, no one has been found alive. Still, the rescue operations continue, and families wait for however long it takes.
Es desesperante porque de la misma forma que yo me siento desesperada, que camino, que tomo líquido, que me hidrato. ¿Cómo estarán si están con vida de desesperado de salir de ahí?
It has been an agonizing wait for Mireya Herrera, who has been here every day longing for signs of life, waiting for her son, her daughter-in-law, and her granddaughters, both in their 20s.
Y siento que mi hijo es fuerte, y siento que me está esperando, que sabe que estoy aquí esperándolo. Por eso no he querido abandonar.
There's also fury from those who say that Venezuela was not prepared for a tragedy of this magnitude. It's certainly the case at the main pediatric hospital in Caracas. Right now, they're treating a 12-year-old girl for multiple and life-threatening injuries. ¿Cómo te sientes, mi amor? Her little body in excruciating pain as she was crushed by the weight of the collapsed floors.
We could receive at least 10 patients here in this area, but since at least 10 years ago, we don't have enough personnel, we don't have enough medicines, we don't have enough mechanic ventilators, so we only can work with 4 patients here in this area.
More than 100 children have ended up here following last Wednesday's back-to-back earthquake, tells me Dr. Uñades Urbina Medina, who has been a pediatrician for 20 years.
you're not prepared. Venezuela's hospitals are not prepared.
Are not prepared.
Never been prepared.
Any hospital, no hospital in Venezuela is prepared for the day by day. But with this catastrophe, it's worse because we don't have enough medicines, equipment, personnel.
The tragic consequence of years of crisis and mismanagement now coming to the fore. Isa Suarez, CNN, Caracas, Venezuela.
Just devastation in Venezuela. Our hearts go out to everyone who was impacted or lost a family member or friend. Want to take things back locally here, of course. It's hard to believe we've already had 4 World Cup matches under our belts right here in Kansas City, and it has been weeks full of culture and celebration and, of course, football as well. I want to take it over next to our sports reporter, Katie Marsh. She's breaking down what the past couple of weeks has really meant and looked like here in Kansas City.
The World Cup called, and boy oh boy has Kansas City answered. It's been a magical 2 weeks, so let's relive it. 1, 2, 3, viva la Chile! In the final days before the first game, the World Cup's smallest host city was already going internationally viral, and for that, we can thank Lawrence, Kansas.
We feel like Lawrence is our second town.
The city that usually bleeds crimson and blue has happily turned red and green, all while chanting Rock Chalk Algeria.
Thank you to Lawrence and thank you to Kansas. They are so welcoming and everyone feels like he's in a home in Algeria.
From there, fans around the world began to make their way to the City of Fountains as the tournament began on June 11th. And on day 2, this packed crowd at FanFest got to watch the U.S. begin its run with a bang, dominating Paraguay 4-1.
I am very impressed. I didn't really know what to expect, but this is crazy.
4 days later came Messi Mania, the 2022 World Cup champions kicking off their quest to repeat right here in our backyard.
I love Messi. He's the love of my life.
A sea of blue and white striped jerseys, most with the number 10 on the back, took over Kansas City on Tuesday, June 16th. After Messi's historic hat trick, it became hard not to feel the magic here in KC. 3 days later, the U.S. punches its tickets to the knockouts, defeating Australia 2-0.
I think this is a new U.S. chapter of men's soccer.
The very next day, we received a crash course in what soccer means to Ecuadorians.
Soccer is a religion in Ecuador. It's not only 11 players there, it's 18 million Ecuadorians.
Simultaneously, Curacao showed up loud and proud as the smallest nation in both size and population to ever qualify for the World Cup.
We're like a chihuahua. It might be small in size, but big in heart. The bark is still hard.
But no goals? No problem. A point for each team, the first ever for Curacao. Kansas City then had 4 days to rest. Well, the better word is probably prepare, because an Orange Legion was coming. Thursday, June 25th. It's a day that'll be hard for this city to forget. An estimated 36,000 dressed in iconic orange get-ups marched down grand from Power and Light to FanFest ahead of the Netherlands matchup with Tunisia. Cheese balls were thrown, Lynx Rex was played, and Kansas Cityans proudly joined in with the Dutch.
Good people! Everything is good here! Yeah!
And this day taught me an important lesson. I need to buy an orange shirt. Now, it didn't rain on the actual parade, but the KC weather eventually KC weathered, canceling FanFest for the day. But luckily, Power and Light has a roof.
Kansas City is amazing, really amazing. But I'm afraid of the weather.
Yeah, same. While the Dutch certainly dominated both in fan size and on the scoreboard, Tunisia fans were just happy they scored a goal.
We're gonna lose, I'm not gonna lie about it. Hopefully not with a big score, though. Tunisia has been the worst in this World Cup, but it's still my country, that's my blood.
Finally, it came time to close out the group stage, with Algeria returning to Kansas City Stadium to take on Austria. The Austrians came ready in their lederhosen and adopted Mark Paulos for the day.
Look how excited they are. They're pumped up. The party is just getting started out here at Power Light.
2 weeks down and 2 more to go. I can confidently say the world is loving us, Kansas City. So let's keep it up.
And we are certainly feeling all that love here at KCTV5. It has been incredible to see the different fan bases flood in and out of our city. And of course, that Orania fan walk we covered just on Thursday was truly a record-breaking one. You can find all of that right now on kctv5.com. We also have Ghana and Colombia playing Friday night. Kickoff is at 8:30 p.m. at Kansas City Stadium. All right, guys, going on here to a little health news for your day. So extreme heat, you may not know, is actually the deadliest weather-related hazard in our country. It causes spikes in emergency room visits and hundreds of deaths every single year. Experts say recognizing the symptoms can save lives. So in today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has the warning signs to watch out for and how to prevent sickness.
It happens every year. The summer temperatures soar and hospitals prepare for patients who fall victim to the heat.
It doesn't take a lot for an individual to get sick.
Emergency medicine Dr. Mark Conroy with the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center says when a person is overheated, it can cause normal body functions to fail. Heat exhaustion can happen when there's an excessive loss of water and salt, typically from heavy sweating when it's hot. Symptoms may include headache, nausea, dizziness, weakness, irritability, thirst, elevated body temperature, and decreased urine output.
But if you don't address it at that moment, you can end up getting into a point where your core body temperature gets to a dangerous level.
Life-threatening heat stroke happens when the body can no longer control its temperature. Symptoms include confusion, altered mental status, slurred speech, loss of consciousness, hot, dry skin, or excessive sweating, seizures, and extremely high body temperature. Immediate emergency treatment is needed if these symptoms are present.
Certainly the biggest thing is prevention.
Conroy says if you do go outside, avoid the hottest times of the day. Stay hydrated with a mix of water and sports drinks. Wear breathable, light-colored, loose-fitting clothing. And if you start to feel sick, get out of the heat.
Get somewhere cool, get out of the wet clothing that you're in and start hydrating and cooling your body down.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Yeah, it's also important to take a proactive approach. Make sure to get inside before you start feeling any of those symptoms. And of course, it is America's 250th birthday this week. For generations, Americans have looked to the Declaration of Independence truly as a defining statement of our nation's core principles, the belief in equality and unalienable rights. Those ideals helped shape democracy and inspire movements worldwide. So that document fueled a revolution. It remains a powerful symbol of freedom. Michael Yoshida reports with more.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This credo language in the Declaration of Independence has helped to define the United States of America for 250 years. But
it wasn't considered the most significant part of that document when it was first written.
In fact, it was detailing the frustrations with increasingly oppressive British rule that the founders cared most about as colonists began to consider what their rights were.
They were really focused on the grievances because that it was justifying their separation and the fact that they were now creating free and independent states.
At war with Britain for over a year and badly in need of alliances that other countries would forge only with a sovereign state, the founders were pushed to declare independence in order to gain freedom.
Without that treaty with France and French intervention in helping us in the American Revolution, we don't win the American Revolution.
But getting to a formal declaration was a process. It started as a 3-part resolution from Virginia delegate Richard Henry Lee and was further crafted by a group of 5.
Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, Robert R. Livingston, and Roger Sherman. The reason why the committee was appointed was, hey, explain why we're separating from Great Britain. And they explained that by creating this Bill of Grievances.
Thomas Jefferson then put pen to paper and brought the ideas to life before finally putting the Declaration up for a vote.
This is the room where it happened. On July 2nd, 1776, you had Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, John Hancock, and others voting on, and then about a month later, signing the Declaration of Independence.
The Second Continental Congress passed the final wording of the Declaration of Independence on July 4th. Most of the signers are going to sign on August 2nd.
When they affix their names, they believe that they are signing their death warrant.
This willingness to risk their lives, fortunes, and honor not only laid the foundation for the U.S. Constitution, but would also fuel democratic causes across generations, from abolition to suffrage to civil rights.
You can see a direct line between the Declaration of Independence and the UN Declaration of Human Rights. You can see it in specific countries' declarations of independence. Martin Luther King Jr., who refers to it as the Great Promissory Note of America.
What began as a bold break from a king became a blueprint for democracy that is still shaping the world today. I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
Yeah, truly an incredible piece of history that shaped how we live today in 2026. Pretty incredible to think about that. I want to go back to this dangerous heat that is really hitting so much of our country. So again, a large portion of our nation is under a dangerous heat wave that threatens to break records. This and dry air and high winds is fueling wildfires in the West. Reed Binion reports.
The lion's share of ignitions are caused by human acts or emissions that create these ignitions.
As wildfires rage in Colorado, officials, including the governor, are urging caution for the 4th of July.
Celebrate big without lighting anything on fire. Hold on to those fireworks until Colorado Day, August 1st. That's our 150th.
Among the wildfires currently burning in Colorado is the Aspen Acres fire. It started early Monday. According to officials, it grew to 23,000 acres as of Monday evening, as howling winds stymied firefighting efforts. The flames have consumed multiple residences, but officials say no injuries have been reported. Evacuation orders have been issued. Meanwhile, there was a procession in Grand Junction Monday, honoring 3 firefighters killed over the weekend while battling a wildfire along the Utah-Colorado border.
Fire service is a family, so when something like this happens, we all feel it.
As wildfires rage in the West, sweltering heat is baking other parts of the country. In Chicago, officials are reminding people high temperatures can be much more than just uncomfortable.
The extreme heat can be very dangerous. This is the time to check in on our neighbors. Let's look out for one another.
The oppressive heat wave also hitting the eastern half of the U.S. ahead of the July 4th weekend, threatening to tie or break more than 100 daily temperature record highs, plus more than twice that for record warm overnight lows. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Yeah, our first Warn 5 weather team here at KCTV5 has you covered as we continue into this excessive heat throughout the week. All right, guys, want to take it next to a little bit of entertainment news for your Tuesday. The Minions are returning to theaters tomorrow. This time, they're setting out to make their own movie. Reed Damigella reports with what you need to know if you're heading out to the big screen.
In Hollywood, the new stars of the silver screen changed the face of the motion picture industry forever.
The Minions break into show business in Minions and Monsters.
You wrote a monster movie?
Sí, con pica kaiju. Arr, arr.
What are you going to use for your monster?
The monster would turn against the Minions and against the world, and the Minions would, try to correct their mistake. And from that little pitch, I was like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
I know the perfect monster for your movie.
I had no idea who was in this movie until I saw it. A couple of days ago, I saw it, and then I was told I was going to be paired with these guys for press day today, and I was so excited to meet both of them. And
contractually, we're not allowed to meet each other. No, I'm
yeah.
Aww, let me get cute.
What's it like co-starring with the Minions?
They're so gosh darn cute. That's the first thing. I think that the transcending language element is actually really profound and is the reason that it has been so successful globally. It's unifying for there to be these cute, funny, joyful, insane creatures that all speak the same language that we maybe don't speak, but we understand.
Oh, Humphrey. Piñata. Carbonara. Lasagna.
Looking for banana-flavored popcorn in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Definitely looks like one I'll have to see, maybe with my friends as well. All right, guys, next up, we know summer movie season is in full swing, but you may not know the studios are giving us our first looks at Thanksgiving and Christmas films. So David Daniel has a preview of 3 winter movies in today's Hollywood Minute, because it is always good to plan ahead.
Don't tell Mom.
Red finds fatherhood is his toughest challenge yet in the Angry Birds movie 3. The animated threequel flies into theaters December 23rd.
Getting a business off the ground takes more than a good product.
Milton, you keep chasing perfection when maybe you should be chasing magic. This batch is
Almost perfect.
Finn Wittrock and Alexandra Daddario star in Hershey, about the couple whose chocolate empire changed the world. The drama is due in theaters November 25th.
Thy soul is cursed. Thy kin are cursed.
Nosferatu director Robert Eggers returns with Werewolf, starring Aaron Taylor Johnson in a supernatural story set in medieval Britain. The film opens December 25th under a nearly full moon. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Man, we definitely got a good mix of comedy, cartoon, and even some horror there. A little bit of something for everyone. All right, guys, we're going to go on a quick break. When we come back, reporter Claire Decatur will be sitting down to recap what's going on in Kansas City right now. Until then, here is a live look out over the National World War I Museum and Memorial. Love to see the city of fountains, especially on this warm summer day. We'll be back soon. All right, hello. Welcome back in here to KCTV5 Plus. I'm Katie Bird here now with Claire Decatur for your Kansas City recap. Claire, you have been out and about this week in the Metro.
Oh, yeah, it's been a busy week. Still that World Cup stuff going on, which is fun.
Yes, yeah. You visited FIFA Fan Festival a couple of different times. One of the things that has taken social media by storm is the FIFA charm bracelets, but they had to change how they're approaching the process. Is that right?
They did, and I've actually heard from some viewers post that story that there's still issues getting these bracelets.
Really?
And so this new change is the new way you can get a bracelet, but it might not cut the time down in line like they were expecting with this change.
Let's go ahead and take it over to your story to see the latest updates.
Have you been trying to get one of these FIFA Fan Festival bracelets? Well, there's now a new system in place aimed to cut down the times after some fans say they waited hours in line for one. Here's how it works. First, you'll pick up a paper wristband from the Bank of America activation area. Each wristband has a specific 1-hour return window. When your time arrives, you'll head back to the bracelet station, fill out a card with your preferred bracelet color and beads, and the team will create it for you.
Anything that's quick around here is good, right? So to be able to do that and have something like this is really good.
Laura Grant is from Nottingham, England, and she came out this Friday hoping to make a bracelet to take home to her 2 teenage daughters.
To have something that they wouldn't be able to get into the UK and that's so unique would be fantastic.
The new system officially started Thursday. In KCMO, Claire Decatur, KCTV5 News.
Yeah, and you've also heard since this coverage that what are people saying about the process and how it's working?
So they're getting those paper wristbands like you saw in that video, but apparently there's still a line out the wazoo to get these bracelets. Some people were reporting there were some beads that were sold out and they got a pre-made bracelet, things like that. I've not confirmed that with the Bank of America, but that's what I've been hearing from people too. So there's still some issues here too. But I at least have to say, we have to remember these are free. This is completely free.
It is.
And so I'm grateful they're even giving them out, but totally understand the frustrations if you think you're going to get one and then it takes a little bit longer than you think.
Oh yeah, and there are some really unique charms. I'm looking at one on the screen. There's a barbecue charm. There is a Kansas City. It looks like some sort of trumpet. So kind of, you know, doing what's unique to Kansas City. And I think that's what also makes these bracelets such a hot commodity. I know personally when I was there at the Fan Fest, I got in line for the bracelet around 2, but the wristband was for the 7 to 8 p.m. time slot. And I knew I was not going to be waiting all that long for it. But Claire, there are also different themes at the FIFA Fan Festival.
Yes, which I actually had no idea about until I was talking with some people that were in charge, and they were like, yeah, we got 5 themes, and they actually have different things that coincide with those. You can find out more on the KC 2026 website, but there's 5 really cool themes you're about to hear about.
You're breaking them down as well. I want to take it over to your coverage of this one next.
The FIFA Fan Festival has 5 different themes. The first theme was Heartland Hello, welcoming the world to Kansas City.
We had all of our local bands and DJs. You know, we displayed the heart for everybody for the first time.
Next comes Sportstown USA, celebrating championship traditions and game day energy Kansas City is known for. The third theme, The World's Game, highlights global cultures, fans, and traditions that make soccer the most popular sport on the planet.
It's all about how we can celebrate soccer, football, and bring that to Kansas City.
Home team follows over the July 4th holiday, combining World Cup fever with America's 250th birthday celebration.
We wanted to show our visitors what it's like to have a 4th of July in America, so they've got quite the fireworks show planned.
The festival's last theme is KC Creates, highlighting the local artists and musicians that help bring the World Cup in Kansas City to life. In KCMO, Claire Decatur, KCTV5 News.
They really put a lot of thought into the planning and the different theming. They all have something to do with Kansas City, but kind of in a different approach. So it's been pretty cool to see.
Oh yeah, very cool. Excited for this weekend, which is the American one, getting to celebrate 250th of our nation.
Yes, I have a feeling it might be pretty packed there that night. I want to take it next to Union Station, something that caught the eye of everyone driving by, the famous Idaho potato, Claire.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was a sight to behold. Definitely a bucket list item for some people. Gigantic. 4 tons is how big that potato is. The big question is it real? I got to see inside the potato, so take that as you will. and there was some things in there that were not very potato-y. So yeah, definitely a very cool thing to see. They had lots of buttons they were giving out. It was really cool to see the community's reaction. I ran into some fans that were there to watch the Mexico game that day, and I was like, guys, I promise this isn't always here in Kansas City. We're not always big potato people, but you know,
That's
fun little addition for them to
funny.
see.
What a good time for it to roll through the metro. Now, I'll be honest, when I saw this on air the first time it went on, I asked our manager, I was like, is this real? I truly did. I mean, it looks very realistic. I'm like,
It
okay,
does.
maybe it's some world record. And then I felt really silly after I asked that question. But debunked, it is not a grown potato, but it looks as
Yeah.
real as all of the other ones. That's all I have to
It was
say.
very cool, very cute seeing the little kiddos next to it. They were very, very impressed by it and blown away. So very cool to see.
That's awesome. And next up here, of course, it's hot for everyone, but there are extra precautions that need to be taken when it comes to our four-legged friends. This is a really important thing to be aware of for all pet owners, and even if you have stray pets in your area as well.
Yeah, they definitely said lots of things like water, and they talked about their paw pads too, and that's where they sweat actually, which I thought was really unique. They don't sweat all over like humans do, and so they said to be really cautious and to make sure you're taking care of your furry friends, making sure you take short walks. If the pavement is too hot for you, it's too hot for your pets, so be sure to put them in the grass, things like that. They also talked about little booties you can get for them too in case their little paws get a little too hot, and so yeah, definitely lots of good tips there.
I want to go ahead and take it over to your explainer package to dive into this a little more for pet owners out there.
Sunny, sit. Madison Brown may have a dog named Sunny, but she's not a fan of the summer heat.
I actually kind of dread it because then I can't take my two dogs on as long of a walk.
If you're headed outside with your pet, vets say heat and humidity can turn dangerous fast.
They have sweat glands in their paw pads. They primarily cool by panting. And if the air outside is very warm and it's very humid, they're not going to evaporate very well when panting, and they're not going to cool effectively.
Dr. Goldston says certain dogs are at even higher risk, especially short-nosed squish-faced breeds, and they should only be out for short stretches in extreme heat. And if the pavement is too hot for you, it's too hot for your pet's paws.
Especially with like the black roads, because the black absorbs the heat and it gets hot faster. So keeping them on like the grass, or if they're used to it, you can put booties on them to help protect their little paw pads.
Some clinical signs of heat stroke are excessive panting if they don't want to stand and collapse.
We do recommend cooling them off. You don't want to necessarily put them in ice, but put them in the tub, hose them off with some nice cool water to help kind of bring that temperature down. You can put some fans on them.
And if those at-home remedies don't work, be sure to take them into urgent care as soon as possible.
It can be a life-threatening condition.
Brown says her go-to in this heat, always keep water on hand.
Don't forget about your kitty friends too. Put out some cold water for those feral cats in your community. Keep an eye on them, making sure that they're not getting too hot either.
Claire Decatur, KCTV5 News.
All right, Claire, and I learned something about that little pup at the end of your video.
That is my dog, Kylo. He got to be the star of that show for sure. My mom met up with me at a park and he was able to be part of the story, which was really fun. He was quite the diva, though. He pants when he's excited, I should say, so he wasn't super overheated. We had stuff for him, cooled him off a ton, but when he's just super excited, he just pants and is running around like crazy.
Oh my goodness. Well, he was the perfect addition to your coverage. And this could be a record-breaking week, not only for Kansas City, but so much of the United States, and especially with the 4th of July festivities and the FIFA Fan Festival and, of course, the World Cup. Lots of people are going to be outside. So really important awareness as well. And if it's too hot for you on the asphalt or concrete, it will be too hot for your pet's paws as well. So before we go, we have some fun things to chat about. One of them being Taylor and Travis's wedding. So there have been so many murmurings. Everyone's wondering. All signs are pointing to New York City, Madison Square Garden. Claire, I want to know, what's your take on this?
See, I've seen so many videos. I just saw one on social media that was showing like different parts of like a stage to be put in. I also saw like a garden party like thing that was labeled. It was just a big box that was labeled garden party. Don't know what that means. I feel like it really could be there. I also saw the National Guard and police were out there. I don't know if that's taxpayer dollars getting sent towards that or if she like privately brought those in. I don't know the whole logistics to that. I feel like it could be there, or at least the party's there. I feel like they could have gotten married maybe earlier at a smaller venue and maybe like a little just personal family one. And this is like the huge party, but I honestly don't know 100% if it's going to be there. But I'm leaning towards yes. I'm leaning towards it will be there. What do you think?
I think something will be there.
Yeah.
Regarding the wedding. So you think they could already be married? And I've heard that from multiple people.
I feel like because of how discreet they were with the engagement, I feel like it just makes me think that they could be super discreet with the wedding too. And I feel like we know they've already probably had their bachelorette and their bachelor trips with the photos that have been circulating online as well. Rhode Island, I think it was last weekend or weekend before that they had fireworks going off and some of her friends were seen at her property in Rhode Island.
No way.
So yeah, I feel like there's like, it could have happened. And I feel like with how many people she said that she's inviting, like I saw her tell radio show hosts that they're going to be at the wedding too. I feel like I could see her doing something really big at Madison Square Garden. So I'm leaning towards that, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about like her lyricism, her music. A lot of it points back to New York City. It's a place that shaped her. And it's a place where they have a lot of fun together, rightfully so. She was just seen at the Knicks game a few weeks ago, so maybe she was kind of plotting how she could transform it into her picture-perfect wedding venue. Another thing is security there can be very tight, and especially there's no windows inside, so paparazzi couldn't be taking photos. People are calling this the wedding of the century. I mean, we don't have a royal couple in the United States, but maybe this could be something kind of close. I mean, everyone loves them. Just as much. It's so fun to scheme and chat about it. Well, we're just a few days away from it, so we will definitely be bringing you anything we're seeing here at KCTV5. I really hope that guests are able to post and share photos and videos from the day, but I don't know how that will look either.
I don't either. I know we talked about this earlier, but how people's phones been checked into concerts. I could see them doing that for their wedding to just kind of like let it be discreet for a little bit. And then maybe after the 4th of July, they'll make a big post and talk about that. I don't know 100%, but I really do think it could be this weekend.
I agree. I think it has to be. If not, then we are all fooled. And Taylor Swift, you are a mastermind, no play on words. But this kind of ties into Kansas City recap because, of course, our own tight end is marrying the world's most famous pop star. You know, the day of their engagement, the world was shocked. But now that it's really sunk in, it's still just as crazy that a bunch of Chiefs players are going to be pulling up to our icon's wedding. I just think that's so fun, and I can't wait to see more of it.
I'm intrigued to see who's all there. I think I've heard rumored that like Patrick will be there. I'm guessing Andy Reid will be there. A lot of other stars and stuff like that. So definitely some Kansas City faces will be there too.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I hope the Hunt family is there. I hope the Mahomes family is all there. I'm sure they will be. They're all pretty tight knit, but it's so cool to see how Taylor, excuse me. I don't know who Tyler is. Taylor's really integrated herself in Kansas City. She didn't have to do that, but she has, and it's great to see. We got a couple more things to break down. So it's 4th of July weekend, and I want to know, Claire, what are your favorite like traditions or things you like to do to celebrate Independence Day?
Oh, that's so good. So for the first time a couple years ago, I got to shoot off fireworks at one of my friend's house, and I've never gotten to do that before, so that to me was a really cool thing. We don't necessarily have like 4th of July traditions in my family. We always go see a fireworks show, so I guess that's kind of a tradition. Always got to make time to go see that. I feel like you have to have a hot dog. It's like a rite of passage for the 4th of July, a hot dog, hamburger, all that jazz. And so, yeah, I know we'll be at the World War I Memorial Museum to do the Big Stars and Stripes fireworks show that'll be there too, which will be really exciting to see.
It'll be great. I love the day of 4th of July. I just soaking up the sun, you know, grilling, barbecue, whatever it may be. But I am not one to light the fireworks, Claire, I have to say.
Oh, I get you.
I like to keep my distance. And, you know, everyone has a scare, I feel like, from their childhood of one going off too close to them. And I mean, I even know someone in my community who had like lost part of a hand from a firework. So I think all of those things together just makes me want to spectate instead of get in on the action. And then one more thing that I thought we could break down on Kansas City recap. We have a lot of visitors coming. And so I'm wondering, what are your suggestions of fun things to try entertainment wise in the peak of the summer, or even if there's like nature trails or good things. I've got a few ideas, but I know you have a list as well.
Oh yeah, I love Kansas City. I mean, I feel like everybody's been talking about it, but you have to do it when you're here, and that's getting some classic Kansas City barbecue.
You do.
I've seen Dallas talk about how their fans are trying their barbecue, and I gotta say, I think Kansas City barbecue is way better.
Yes.
You got Joe's KC, you got Jack's Stack, you got Gates, you have all these amazing places, and I'm like, you have to go and try Kansas City barbecue when you're here. And so, yeah.
It's a rite of passage. You know, I recently interviewed someone. That story is going to be promoted on our social media today. He's an Argentinian. He thinks Argentina's barbecue is the best.
Wow.
That's something I've never tried. And I'll be honest, I didn't even know that they had barbecue like that.
I didn't
That their
either.
own unique style, you know? So
Yeah.
I would love to try that. Maybe we can find some here in Kansas City. But I'm with you. Got to try barbecue. I also think the KC wheel is a good way to kind of get the bird's eye view of the city. But also, there are a few spots if you kind of want to get out and enjoy the nature, enjoy some, you know, summer vibes. Smithville Lake is a great option up in the Northland. What about on the Kansas side? What's like the hot spot for lakes over there?
See, I like Olathe Lake. I feel like that's such a hidden gem. I used to go there as a kid all the time. They have like the giant like inflatables on the water. I think they still have those. Just a really pretty smaller, I feel like, body of water to be around, which is really fun. And then I also love Sarco Park, another, not a lake, but like very, very small vibe, lots of walking areas around there. Just a fun place to be if you get hungry. There's an Alexa Public Market that's right down the road, which I absolutely love. So many different kind of cuisines if you're looking for that. Made in KC's over there too if you're looking for some coffee. And so I'm more in the Johnson County area, and I love just the little pockets of things that are there for people to try and go to.
Yeah, sounds like there's a lot to explore in Johnson County that I haven't even really dug into. Well, Claire, it's been so great having you on Kansas City Recap today. And before we wrap, is there any hints you can give to your coverage for this afternoon?
I met a couple of fans that are welcoming in a team that will arrive tomorrow night in the Metro. That's all I'll say. But you got to watch KCT5 tonight at 6 to meet them and to hear some of their chants. They're all from, okay, I'll tell you, they're from Ghana. And they told me about their country, about their pride just for their team coming here tomorrow night. And they're super excited, guys. They were actually cheering for them to lose so they could come here to Kansas City to see their team play, which is really fun.
That's hilarious. Oh, I'm definitely going to be tuning in. I cannot wait for that. So it's also a very warm day. We've been talking about that extreme heat. And here in a few minutes, meteorologist Corey Coates will be breaking that down for you here on KCTV5+. Thanks so much for tuning in. These
Alrighty, guys, taking a live look out at the highway. 35. That's 35. That's got to be 35. I just want to double check because that's the one. Yep, there's the Ferris wheel going up 35. I drive it every day, but I just wanted to make sure. Yep, 35. There's the Ferris wheel going. It just looks hot out there. You know what? Here's a nice picture, too. The fountains, the city of fountains, and it's one of those days where you're walking around. Maybe you want to take a little quick dip in the fountain. Can you get in that fountain? I'm trying to think. Is that a public? Nah, I don't think you can get in that. It almost looks like one of those play pads where you can just walk into it, and it's for the kids and stuff. But yeah, right? It's hot out there. People are looking for ways to stay cool and get some relief from the heat because it's another hot one. Our third straight day of extreme heat and humidity. It is toasty out there. Let's take a look at those current feels like temperatures. Let's just dive in here to what we're feeling and what we're going to see here through the foreseeable future. I mean, a lot of people are wondering, right, when is this extreme heat going to end? And they're also probably wondering, well, that's weird. It doesn't have a camera behind it. But let me show you this graphic anyway. People are wondering, right, how long is this extreme heat going to last? And is it going to last through the 4th of July and for our match on Friday? Well, I'll give you the question. Give you that question here in just a bit. All right. So let's dive in, right? Current feels like temperatures. Cam is not working behind it, but it still shows you those temperatures out there. 102. It already feels like it's in the triple digits here in KC. We're getting that peak heat of the day. Not totally unsurprising. 107 is what it feels like in Ottawa. Most spots, it feels like it's at least 100 degrees for the third straight. Oh, there's our camera. It decided to work randomly there. All right. Cool. And we should see those feels like temperatures not get too far above this. I would say it's going to probably be, maybe we get close to 105, but let's look at those current dew points. Again, that's a measure of the moisture, dew points, and anytime you get dew points 70 degrees or higher, it's very muggy. And again, we are well into the 70s for our dew points. Not quite as humid as yesterday. We're seeing some spots that, and Sunday too, some spots that got into the 80s for dew points or near 80. Yeah, that's pretty insane humidity. But still, nonetheless, humid out there. It's also breezy. We got a little breeze going, and we should continue to have that breeze going. But let's go hour by hour here through today, through this evening, what those feels like temperatures are going to be like. So we should hang on to those triple-digit feels like temperatures through about 4, probably 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock, though, maybe we could start to get back into the 90s for the feels like temperatures. But all the way through 10, again, another evening where we're going to have those feels like temperatures being the 90s, right? The wind will be a little breezy still during that time, but will help also, right? Sun angles low or sets, right? Sets, what is it, around 8:40-ish this time of the year. So, right, then you won't have the influence of the sun, but still it's going to be muggy, it's going to be humid, and it will be warm all the way through this evening. So, another day and even evening where you want to spend time indoors, even for that dinner time hour. Gusts through this evening, right? Stays pretty breezy through then. Maybe it tapers off a little bit. I want to get to 10 o'clock, but right, could see gusts up to 30 miles per hour through that time. And that's nice, right? We'll take anything that we can get to get some relief from the heat. I want to see what all the current wind gusts are at right now. Let's see what it says. Jeez, those graphics are slow. 91, 102. South-southwest wind, south-southwest wind, I should say, that's blowing 14 miles per hour. That's a stiff breeze. That's a noticeable breeze. That's I think that's helping us a little bit today. But, yeah, guys, we have the extreme heat warning here lasting through Friday. They knew, I should probably edit the graphic here. Let me do that actually right now. It says new. That was new yesterday, that they extended from Thursday to Friday evening. And there's talks about extending it to Saturday. Honestly, I'm surprised they haven't already. But look, the National Weather Service are looking at some aspects of the forecast, and I'll get to that in just a bit, that maybe would allow for it to be a little better on the 4th of July, but it still looks like it'll be very hot, very humid. I think it will meet the extreme heat warning parameters during that time, if considering that it already has it right now and it has it through Friday. So let me edit that here until 9 p.m. Friday. Just for our future broadcast coming up here. There you go. But yeah, it is for feels like temperatures above 100. Maybe can get to 110 in some spots for the entirety of the region, okay? And yeah, here's why, right? Like I said, 92, or another day today, like I said, it'll get to 100 degrees or higher already at that mark. 92 is the high temperature today. Again, similar tomorrow, 92, 101 heat index, and Thursday, 93, heat index 103. Every day, low 90s, mid to low 90s, and every day has heat indices at, around, or above that triple-digit marker. I'll also add, we're not getting a ton of relief from those lows. 79 was the morning low yesterday, and this morning, all it got down to was 78. And, oh, does it not want to work for me either? Something's going on with these graphics. We get to this time of the day, and these graphics just don't want to work. That's okay. Well, I was going to show you here that the lows are going to be 77 or 78 during the stretch through Saturday and the 4th of July morning. But let's go back to this graphic. Like I showed you, through Thursday, it's going to be very, very hot. It's going to be very, very humid. And that extends through very big days here. Friday, that's our match day with Colombia and Ghana facing off. 95, and it's expected to be dry and mostly sunny and dry on Saturday, 4th of July. 95 feels like 104 both those days. So both those days, we're going to need to make sure that we are staying cool, we're staying hydrated, and we're staying safe from the heat. Those are days that people will be out and about, that's for sure. How about a little bit more detailed look at the actual match forecast? Because it's later in the day, so it will be cooler. The sun will be going down or down for the game. Kickoff is at 8:30 on Friday. And we're expecting to be around 88 at kickoff. Probably going to feel more around 95 during that time. And that's 35 degrees Celsius. Feels like temperature. That, again, feels like temperature is the actual temperature. You pair it with the humidity, that's what it feels like. So 35 degrees Celsius feels like 95 degrees Fahrenheit feels like. A little bit of a breeze. And this has been our general pattern here with this heat dome here. The heat dome is over us, and it's keeping us hot and dry. And then rain, we call them ridge riders, and storms tend to ride around it. We see that green shading. And that's kind of what we have, right? Here's our heat dome over us today still, and it generally stays over us through the 4th of July. this heat dome and general high pressure that we are watching out for. And once we get to Sunday, we're watching maybe a pattern change. The newer models doesn't have as good looking of a trough, which is to say we're not getting as much of a dip in the jet stream, and that is also to say we're not getting as much cool air, not really a true cold front, or cool front, I should say, this time of the year. But any little perturbation here will help break up the high pressure a little bit, because high pressures tend to stick around a lot. So we're looking for anything in the jet stream to kind of break it up. Could happen on Sunday, and that could result here in possibly our next solid chance for rain once we get to Saturday night, right? Probably overnight, 4th of July. 4th of July is likely dry. But that's the thing that the National Weather Service is looking at. Maybe there's a little chance for rain on Saturday, not enough for us to put anything on the 7-day or have some meaningful chances for rain, but maybe more meaningful rain and storm chances at 30% odds we have it as once we get to Saturday night into Sunday. And yeah, you can see that. Here's the future rainfall. According to, this is the GFS model. It has us pretty dry through Sunday, and then Monday we'll get some rain filling in that we're looking out for. Alrighty, it takes me to our 7-day forecast. We are hot, dry, humid through Saturday. Okay, that's all you need to know. Then once we get to Sunday, maybe a little bit of pattern change, but the models now are starting to say it's probably going to stay pretty warm Sunday and beyond, but it will be relatively cooler. As you can see, right down to 90. Maybe we can crack into the 80s once we get to early next week. The humidity probably sticks around, maybe not quite as high as we've been having it though. But yeah, we also get some rain and storm chances at 30% odds on Sunday and on Monday. Something to look out for. But in the meantime, hot and dry. Let's see if we have questions too. I don't believe we do. But yeah, hey guys, stay safe. And I'm going to leave you with this before I go, because I got to go here kind of soon. I think we need to show some of our heat tips. I think it's very, very important. Here we go. Here are all the heat safety tips. First one, never, ever leave anyone in a hot car, even with hot windows. People, pets, you can't leave them. So here's at 90 degrees how hot your car can get after a certain amount of time in the sun. So after 10 minutes and you're 110, after 20 minutes and you're 120, around 125 after 30 minutes, and then it's 130 degrees plus after an hour or more, and it becomes life-threatening at after 30 minutes. So, right, you need to make sure you are not leaving anyone in your car during this heat, especially right now. It's so, so dangerous. We unfortunately see so many people lose their lives from this, and it's so avoidable and preventable. The other thing is dress in colors and loose fabrics. Just dress appropriately. That's more common sense. Drink plenty of fluids and stay away from alcohol and sugary drinks. Like sugary drinks, Coke, alcohol, actually works against you. It dehydrates you. So make sure you're drinking water, water, water. And if it's not water, drink Gatorade and sports drinks. And overall, try to, if you can, strenuous and outdoor events, strenuous outdoor activities in the peak heat, right? 1 o'clock, 7 p.m. for the most part, all right? Guys, so I hope you're staying cool, you're staying safe. All right, this is a hot stretch. We're used to it this time of the year, but it's our first prolonged heat stretch. I want to make sure you guys are get the right information about it. Yeah, here's the lows, right? That graphic wasn't working before, and also this is one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to take us full. The lows, right? Not a lot of overnight relief through Saturday morning in the mid to upper 70s for your morning lows. So, right, it's going to be cooler, but not as cool as you probably want it to be. So that's another thing. We're not getting a lot of relief. AC's working hard. Energy bill is also, spilling a lot of green. It's costing a lot of money. So that's another thing. But maybe a little pattern break by Sunday. Meaningful rain and storm chances, and a little bit cooler temps. A little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel to look forward to.
everyone, welcome back in here to KCTV5 Plus. I'm Katie Bird here now with social media creator Jackson Valenti. Jackson, a lot of interesting headlines locally today.
Yeah, honestly, a lot going on just today. I mean, even things separate from the World Cup. There is a lot to get into, and there could always be more time to talk about it. So yeah, I think we should honestly let's just get straight into it because there is a ton.
So
for sure.
Some illegal fireworks caused quite the tragedy for one Kansas City family, and it was a very hard lesson learned. What else happened here that we should know before we get into our vertical video coverage?
Yeah, kind of a weird fact I wanted to point out. There was actually I don't want to say similar because it was more like of a home explosion that happened in Washington. But I've seen now 2 separate kind of firework disasters play out over the course of the past like 5-6 days, which is just weird. It's weird that it has happened twice in that short of a time frame. Although I suppose that this is a thing that I guess is likely to happen every year around the 4th. But the long and short of it is that fireworks, especially illegal fireworks, are very likely. If anything goes south and obviously authorities are not going to be prepared to respond to it as well as they would in a situation where you can expect fireworks. You're certainly running a bigger risk. I think that's what that's what we see in these types of stories.
Yeah, you absolutely are right. So our reporter Jordan Fremstad spoke with a mother whose life was turned upside down yesterday. Let's go ahead and take it over to her for more.
I never in a million years thought I would be going through this. I'm not gonna sit here and say for the 4th of July, I don't sit with my kids and light off fireworks because I do, but this has showed me definitely why you don't do it and why it is prohibited here in Olathe.
The use of illegal fireworks leads to 2 families being displaced at this duplex behind me here in Olathe. Lisa Gonzalez, who you just heard from there, says her family, 2 of her kids were using fireworks when all of a sudden their deck caught on fire, and before they knew it, the whole house went up in flames. Olathe fire officials say it caused $150,000 in damage, and Lisa says her family lost everything as a result. And Olathe fire officials say leave the fireworks to the professionals.
I never...
Important message there, Jackson. Definitely one that was tough to learn for that family, but the lesson and the timing couldn't be better.
Yeah, and I just imagine that you have to imagine the heat obviously has to play some type of role. Obviously, it's not going to be what caused it ultimately, but it certainly does not help when it is as hot as it has been. So certainly, I mean, you saw the photos and videos there. I mean, the destruction of that home and the amount of time it took is again, it's always surprising to see the amount of destruction that can be caused by such a seemingly small action. So just important to keep in mind, to obviously emphasize your fireworks safety, do it in places that's permitted, do it with fire, follow all the guidelines as you should, I think is ultimately the lesson here.
Yeah, important reminder. Gonna go ahead and get to some more exciting news that has to do with Kansas City current renderings. I want to go ahead and pull them up on our screen while we chat about them, but this is an exciting day, especially for the sports world, Jackson.
Yeah, this is we've kind of known about some of this expansion stuff for a little bit here, but we're seeing what it might look like for the first time. I mean, these renderings really paint a picture of this isn't just an effort to expand the stadium, add more seats. It will do that, of course. But it really seems like the effort here is to make the entire area around the Missouri Riverfront to be an entertainment/sports district. They want to have more outdoor areas. They want to have more businesses there. The seating, I think, goes from 11,500 to, I believe, 18,000, potentially more than 18,000, which I'm not good at math, is between like a 40 and 50% increase. So a massive increase percentage-wise and just pure numbers-wise, obviously. For the current stadium. So just looking at all this, I mean, you can tell how big of an impact this could have. The only, I guess, sticking point that we're seeing at this point in time, and of course, a lot can change between these renderings being made and shown to us today and these things actually coming to fruition, is the possibility of a parking garage. I know some people, that was a big talking point in city council today, was how's the parking garage going to get paid for? Is it going to be public versus private investment? There are still a lot of details that are yet to be finalized. There's still a lot that needs to shake out before this stuff happens. But I mean, those renderings are an idea of at least what the developers want to accomplish. They want more parking. They want more businesses. They want this to be its own, district, I think, that people really, and granted, a lot of people already like visiting, Current Landing in this area. But they want to make it even bigger than it already is. They want this to be clearly more than just we're adding, 6,000, 7,000 seats.
Yeah, 100%. Before I take it over to our vertical video coverage, I just have to say the fact that they're already wanting to expand when this is a really fresh stadium here in the Metro just shows, I think, the kind of impact that it's had in our community. And I mean, they've said it themselves, every game has been sold out or close to every game. Can't remember that exact statistic, but again, huge economic impact and community impact as well.
Major KC current expansion, take a look. Firstly, the stadium will fit a lot more people. Seating capacity goes from 11,000 to 18,000 plus. With that, more parking, more shops and retail. And we also know there will be more outdoor space. If you can see from these renderings, there's a concerted effort to make the entire Missouri riverfront in this area a larger entertainment district as well.
Yeah, I mean, the Berkeley riverfront has really exploded, especially this summer. I took the streetcar down there last weekend, and it was such a different experience, one that I never thought would even happen growing up here in Kansas City, but we're glad to see it.
It's really cool. It doesn't feel like maybe an isolated area anymore. It feels very much connected to other parts in the city downtown, whereas maybe it felt like a little bit of an island beforehand. It's feeling more and more connected as time goes on. Obviously, it's felt, bustling with Argentina so close by. But if an expansion like this happens, it obviously would have a huge impact on that entire area and something that people, I think, rightfully are pretty excited about.
Yes, they are, Jackson. All right, before we go, big news also with the Royals stadium plans. What's exactly going on here?
Yeah, kind of as you can expect, a lot of the details are still shaking out for the Royals downtown stadium. Really kind of finalizing how the Crown Center side of it is going to work. Obviously, the stadium's going to go kind of right where, if like those Christmas trees and the ice rinks go up in Crown Center during the winter time. So just some finalizing details about how exactly that's going to go in. And our reporter Samantha Boring kind of breaks it all down for us.
Yeah.
Kansas City, we are getting a glimpse of what the Royals' move to downtown Kansas City will look like over the next decade. Monday, the team submitted its paperwork. It's the framework that lays out what the district could become: a stadium, new buildings, parking, and a redesigned area with plazas. It also spells out the big real-world impacts the city and neighbors will care about: how traffic would be routed on game days, what upgrades may be needed for roads, and how parking would work. The bottom line, this submission is the roadmap for the city to use to judge what gets built, how it functions, and what changes it triggers around the neighborhood. Currently, no date.
All right. Yeah. Big news out of downtown Kansas City. I'm so happy the Royals are headed there. I know most people are too. There are some mixed opinions as well, but that is really for any big move in a city.
Yeah, this is a huge thing. This is, billions of dollars worth of investment that's going to go into downtown. There's going to be people against it. There's going to be nothing ever of that scale is going to benefit 100%. Typically, it's never going to benefit 100% of people. There's always going to be somebody who feels slighted or could be hurt by that development in one way or another. Obviously, different housing groups, different tenants in the area who are realistically going to be dealing with much more expensive property values. Yeah. Could be good for some people and could obviously be bad for some people, as you can probably foresee. Yeah. So just a lot going on, a lot to be excited about in that front. I think from a fan perspective, I think a lot of fans, I haven't seen many fans upset about that announcement. I think a lot of people, at least from a fan perspective and maybe not living next to it, there's certainly more mixed opinions in that regard. People are excited as fans.
Yeah, they truly are. And many of us here in Kansas City are just ready for the Royals to be a little closer and more central. Again, we've had big news with Chiefs this past year, and obviously Royals, as now Truman Sports Complex, will not be the same here in a decade from now as we know it, which is interesting to think about.
Yeah, of course, the Truman Sports Complex back in the day was kind of meant to be a thing that the city kind of grew towards and around. Obviously, it didn't end up playing out that way. If you plant the stadium kind of right in the middle of downtown, though, the city's already around you. So I think that's what, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know for sure. I would think that that's what they wanted back in the day.
Yes.
So perhaps we'll see it come to fruition.
Hopefully that will be the case. Well, Jackson, we've got to wrap because your KCTV5 News at 3:30 is coming shortly. Thanks so much for sticking with us. We'll be back here in a bit.